Welcome back, everyone, to another great episode of Water Polo Wednesday. It's been such an exciting year for us in our first year bringing this podcast to you, and things continue to just get better. The Stanford women took their first defeat of the season at the hands of USC. We're closing in on men's National League finals, which is just getting more and more exciting. We break down not only the play-in games and schedule, but also the Filip Filipovic signing by Los Angeles Athletic Club. We have all that, a ton more to talk about this week. We're so excited, including some great LAAC gear that's gone on sale, coming up on this episode of Water Polo Wednesday. Let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Water Polo Wednesday with Wes and Clay. You're Wes.
And you're Clay.
Here we go again. Follow us
us
on Instagram, Spotify, wherever you are. Another episode, another week closer to National League Finals, which we're obviously very excited about. However, before we dive back into National League Finals prep, a couple things to cover. First, if you plan on coming out to finals and you happen to want to support LA Athletic Club, you can grab some amazing gear at laacwaterpolo.com. Go to the menu, click on shop. You'll be taken to our online store, which we just opened a couple weeks ago. We've got crew neck sweatshirts, t-shirts, and these iconic hats that we debuted at Senior Nationals last year available for purchase. Everything goes towards the club and funding our mission. So the store will be open until April 10th. That's a Thursday. Then we have to place all the orders to ensure that everything gets where it needs to go in time for National League Finals weekend, because we want you guys to be actually in the gear, showing up on deck if at all possible. So we're even offering you guys a chance to pick it up at finals on deck if you want to, that Saturday morning, the 26th, if that's of interest to you. So wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, look, LA Athletic Club appreciates the support. Whatever you can do. We've had overwhelming response for these sweatshirts in particular. Was the first thing that went on sale. The hats are a very popular item. We've lowered prices to make it, as affordable as possible. These sweatshirts alone, before we go through shipping and printing and all that, retail at about $50. And so we're doing everything we can. These are very high quality sweatshirts. We like to wear very good gear, so we don't really mess around with that. And then of course you can donate if you'd like. It's a tax deduction. It's a 501c3. And we appreciate whatever anybody can do to help to support the club and the sport, as all the proceeds go back into the program and the players and continuing to, as Clayton said, fulfill the mission, and grow the sport of water polo.
Yep. So be sure to check that out and get your gear as we fly towards NL Finals. Second, the USC Trojan women put together a clinic, a heroic effort in their win versus Stanford this past weekend, giving Stanford their first loss of the season. Wes, you've had a chance to call, again, a couple of the Stanford women's games and are scheduled to do this Saturday's game versus UCLA. Talk to us about what happened there at this Stanford game.
So, look, I don't love to see anybody lose, but I love to see competitive games. And it shocked me that Stanford lost, to be candid with you, because they're a very special team. It's not to say anything about any of the other teams, but Stanford's pretty special this year. And USC showed up, man. They were ready to go. So I think it shocked the water polo world a little bit. USC is definitely a solid team that you can't overlook them. Last time they played, Stanford won by 4 down at Brighton Invitational. This time they were up 7-4 going into the fourth quarter. Likely thinking, okay, we've got this. Like, you had a 3-goal lead going into the fourth. You have a great goalie. You've got very good defense. I mean, you've got Ryan Neuschel, who erases a lot of mistakes by a lot of people. And I think they kind of let up a little bit. I think there was a little bit of a pause in intensity. And USC ends up outscoring Stanford 8-4 in the fourth quarter. That's a lot of goals. 12 goals in the fourth quarter, 8 by USC. That's very efficient. That's basically like almost every possession, right? Because you only get like 10 possessions in a quarter or so. So that's incredible. Big shout out to Tilly Kearns. She is an absolutely unstoppable force in the middle. The Australian native and an Olympian put up 6 goals, 4 of which came in the fourth quarter. And so she showed why Australia is so darn good at the Olympics this past summer. And dude, she looked unguardable at times. Now, this is really interesting to me. So For those of you who watch the show pretty regularly, we love to dive into the statistics of things. So the last time I mean, personally, I like to see trends. I don't think it tells us everything though. And I'm going to make, this is a good point to make here. Last time USC played against Stanford, Tilly Kearns only had 1 goal, but she drew 7 exclusions. Now, if you rewind back to 2020 or 2021, the Olympics, Ben Halleck was drawing exclusions left and right. And basically teams were saying, hey, we're just not going to give up a goal at a center. They take an early exclusion so they wouldn't have to play defense for a very long time, right? It was like, okay, great. We're at 20 seconds. Take the exclusion immediately and play 5-on-6. And the U.S. struggled on their 5-on-6. Ironically, the same thing here. When you look at that stat line,
6-on-5.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah. U.S. would struggle on their 6-on-5. The defense of 5-on-6 would, right? So you look at that stat line, you say, okay, she only had 1 goal, but she drew 7 exclusions. Like, that's a pretty good day at the office for a center. And you look at that stat line and you're thinking, wow, okay, she really dominated that game. That was my first impression. She really dominated that game. To agree, that's true. But maybe they're double teaming her. Maybe they're taking the early exclusion to just say, hey, we're just not going to give this up. Now, in contrast, in this weekend's game, Kearns only drew 1 exclusion, according to 6-8, okay? But she scored 6 times. So to me, and I felt this for a very long time, Clayton, and we've talked about this a lot, we've become way too dependent on working for the exclusion. Because most teams aren't going to score 50% of the time on their exclusions. That's just not, that's the goal. It just doesn't happen a lot. You're probably safer to assume 25 to 30%. That's like a more likely, I think there's more higher likelihood of that. So Stanford got a little bit like, well, we shut her down last time. And then I think Kearns was like, I'm just not going to take the exclusions this time. And just overpowered the Stanford defense. Now, look, life is short, right? Score goals. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of centers scoring goals. There's something very compelling and inspiring about when I watch Dash McFarland or Max Miller or Gabi Acosta or Pete Castillo or Corbin Stanley score a goal out of center, a true natural goal out of center on the men's side. Watching Tilly Kearns, same feeling for me. Loved it. Like, there she is. She's taking over the game. Because putting one in the back of the net, I'll take that all day. Like, if you had to make me choose, do I take the exclusion and 6-on-5 or do I take the goal? I take the goal. Right? And so for me, right, that type of approach that Kearns took was game-changing for USC. That was the difference. Was that Tilly Kearns just said, we're going to win this game. She put the team on her back. And look, it's not just her, but it sure makes a big difference when your center scores 6 times, because then it opens up, Ava Stryker and like Emily Osmus and, a few other like key scorers for them from the outside. Things get much easier because they're shooting from closer to the cage because the defense is compressed a little bit. And so USC hands Stanford their first loss. Congratulations to USC. I don't think this is a bad thing for Stanford. If anything, a timely loss like this might be really good for them. Got to figure conference championships are in 1 month, right? Same weekend as National League Finals, April 25th, 26th, 27th. I believe they're playing at UCLA. So UCLA is going to be home. And for them, like for Stanford, sobering. Good loss. They were beating teams 20-4, 18-4, whatever. Sobering. Good for them. What are they going to do about it? How tough are they? Because now you're going to find out. Good for USC. Congratulations. That's a huge win to knock off Stanford, who's beaten everybody, including USC, earlier in the year. We had to call that out. Love to see competitive parity in the sport. That's something that we've seen too many years where teams just go undefeated, unblemished, unchallenged. Great to see this. Not that I want anybody to lose. I just want competitive games.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely echoing your sentiments on what a goal from center can do for the game and for your team. It's the most electric thing that can happen in a game is a center goal, center natural goal. It's gotten a lot easier to draw exclusions as time has gone on in our sport. And I think centers can often fall into the trap of only going for the exclusion, for sure. And what an exclusion does can do a couple things. If you do have a great 6-on-5, that's awesome, but it's by no means a guaranteed goal. Like you said, the percentage is probably closer to 25, 30%. If you have 50%, that's an amazing amazing conversion percentage, but it's just still a maybe. And if you can put it in the back of the net, then it's all said and done for. It really boosts up your team's energy. It's demoralizing. The most basic defensive rules for teams are often no counterattack goals, no goals out of center. And that's for a reason, because it's such a devastating and, in theory, preventable goal, right? There are things that you can do in offense to prevent the counter goal from even getting happening in the first place. There's the things you can do to prevent center goal happening in the first place. So when you let those goals come in, that can be really tough. Absolutely. Transitioning over to the National League side, and I mean, something that's really top of mind for us and for a lot of other teams, I'm sure, is just the format of it being this elimination round, this no backdoor tournament. This is it. We have the
Playoffs,
standings
baby.
out.
It's playoffs.
This is playoffs, and every single game has to count. And you have to be uber present for these games because there's no second chances, right? Unlike Stanford, where this could be really good for them, any loss is not good news for anybody else heading into these finals.
Yeah, well, look, I think everybody is excited about this. I know I'm particularly excited about this. Something we've worked for a very long time, to have a very competitive National League. And I believe we've achieved that this year, which is great. But the big news with National League over the weekend, on Friday morning, this was released. Filip Filipovic has signed with the Los Angeles Athletic Clubs. You definitely saw that. We know that because of all the Instagram messages and text messages and hits we got, which was very cool. And what this means to the league, pairing these two, Denis Varga and Filip Filipovic, on the same team is, look, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I saw this great Instagram post of, my wife showed it to me, of how this is basically Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi coming together to be on the same team. This just doesn't happen a lot. Most of the time, because they're too darn expensive to have the two guys on the same team. It's just very tough to do. And when we noticed that they had both retired, this became much more feasible because they weren't playing. Now, what kind of quality that they're going to bring, I think they're training pretty hard. I mean, I see a lot of clips about Dennis from his coach of him training. I know Filip is starting to get after it pretty good for the last month. He's known about this for the last month or so. I can't begin to I couldn't overestimate the importance of this signing to the league and what it means for water polo in the United States. Now, maybe people won't show up. I don't think that's going to be the case, though, because I think this is a really special opportunity. And I think everybody knows it. And so for National League, right, this is truly remarkable and truly unbelievable, that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, not just for the fans, but also for Filip and Denis to play together. Again, this has never happened before. The two greatest players in the last 20 years playing on the same team. So if for nobody else, these guys get to play together for the first time ever. And Filip talked about that. We'll get to his interview later, but he talked about how special that is and how this almost happened once, but it just wasn't in the cards. And Denis was a big part of that signing, where he was messaging him and pushing him to be like, come on, let's go do this together. And that's what made it all happen. Really, I've been talking to Filip for quite some time. We've developed a relationship. He's a stand-up guy. I've loved getting to know him.
Yeah,
he's been awesome to talk to, and we message all the time. Denis is, unbelievable. I mean, we talk almost every day. Yeah. These guys are great humans, which at LA Athletic Club is really what we look for first and foremost. We want good people to be here. And I think from a league perspective, what this is going to do is it's going to make every single game that LA Athletic Club plays in really must watch, just to see this talent on display. So that's kind of my plug on that. We won't get into how the signing occurred and do a special on that in the coming weeks, but it's a really big deal. And again, a call to arms for everyone. Get out to National League, get some cool gear, show up, represent the house. Ideally, we have 5,000 there. That's my personal evangelize this so that 5,000 people show up. I think it's important. I really do. I really think it's important for the sport, for investors to see that this is something that we truly care about here in the United States. So that's my soapbox. I'll get off of that. So we're gonna first take an overview of the brackets and play-in. Let's take a look again at the schedule. This is now public. The schedule is now public, and we'll also look at the times of these games. Okay, so I'm going to share now the schedule that has been made public. Give me a second here, Clay. I'm going to pull this up. So here's the National League
schedule.
Yeah, the schedule, as my British friends say. Okay, so they used our graphic we made. That's very flattering, don't you think? Yeah, I made this graphic. Makes me very happy. Standings are there. Very cool. All right, so here we go. We'll have two different courses, I believe. The 5 versus 12 is Trojan Sunset, and then Anteater will take on Channel Cats after that. And then USA Pipeline, Channel Islands, again, and then Long Beach and Riptide. We're going to start here, course 2. I believe this is actually going to be at Ocean View, is what my gut tells me. That's not confirmed, but I believe it is. So Riptide will actually have a home game there. So that's very exciting. It'd be great if, Anteater could host. That would be awesome if they could host, so that Anteater has a home game. 2 home games would be really, really cool, right? And so if we go then to, let's do this one. I'm going to switch it over. So that's the schedule. And I want to go over to our play-in. I made a little graphic here, and I'm going to break down. I'm going to break this down. Okay. We've seen all of this. Okay, cool. All right. Flashing lights. Very exciting.
Pretty.
So we're going to cover the USA Pipeline versus Channel Islands today, and the Long Beach versus Riptide. So I'm going to start with Long Beach versus Riptide. All right. So first things first, this is going to be competitive. I think Riptide's going to be at home. Am I giving you like a seizure here? I think Riptide's going to be at home. Riptide will be at home, which is very exciting. And I want to go back and we'll go back to the non-flashy screen here. There we go. So Riptide's going to be at home, and Riptide gave Long Beach all they could handle when they played in the regular season. So Dane Howell had an absolute game. Like that. That's how I got to know Dane Howell. I actually called the game, the Riptide versus Long Beach game in regular season. It went to a penalty shootout. A lot of penalty shootouts this year, which was great to see how close things were. Yeah. Dane Howell had 7 goals in this game. Okay. And he only scored one of those in the penalty shootout because he actually missed one of them. He has breathed some life into this Riptide team. Like, you can see them starting to believe. And despite this being a 7v10 matchup, where Long Beach is a 7 and Riptide's a 10, this feels like a 8-9, or it's a very close matchup. Like, these teams are very, very evenly matched. Roberto Sanchez, the goalie for Riptide, has been legit good for them. He's really grown this year. I've been very impressed with him. My team, a bit older than a lot of the teams in this league, is really solid. And we talked about this a little bit last week, Clay. They're a good team. All right, they're a good team, and it's a good shot for them to get an early win, especially that they're at home and advance to the quarterfinals versus Olympic Club. I think this game, I'm not going to make a prediction yet. I think Riptide's going to be a very good team. I think they're going to bring it, and I think they're going to be excited. I know Eric Prowlis is going to be stoked and pushing their guys, and you love to see it. I've been very impressed with Riptide this season.
I think they like this matchup for sure.
Yeah, I think they do too, because I think they felt like that one slipped away because they had a good lead against them going in the fourth quarter, and they kind of blew it. So that's Riptide.
Awesome. That's Riptide. What about Long Beach?
Yeah, so this Long Beach team is confounding to me. I look at this team, I look at these players, I look at what these players can do. You've got a dude in the middle in Gabi Acosta, right? He's a beast in the middle. Like, this guy, mind you, they're missing Corbin Stanley. These two guys were the best 2 centers in their Big West conferences last year. Like, they're really good. They've got Mark Fergola, who's a 6'5" righty attacker from the 4-5 side. Sandro Caballero, a new ad for them. He plays on the 1-2. A lot of really, really good utility players who do a lot of things really well. Jason O'Donnell can defend, who's actually a very good scoring defender. And you love to see that. And then Caleb Francisco absolutely rips for them. Like he's got a cannon. This team has some really nice pieces. Okay. Really nice pieces to it. They won the Big West last fall. So it's not like a slouch team. But they really didn't lose anybody, right? They lost Aaron Wilson in the goal. And Liam, I forget his last name, but like they lost their goalies. They've got 3 goalies that have kind of been working through this season. But this is a very good team. And you're seeing that here. These guys are in shape. They're playing very well together. They're very, very talented. I mean, they had 2 of the best freshmen in the Big West this last season in Corbin Stanley and Gabby Acosta. I love this matchup for both of these teams because I think you're going to get a great game. Again, I believe that'll be at Ocean View, and that is going to be 7:30 p.m. on Friday, April 25th. Long Beach versus Riptide. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at the teams on paper, like you said, Long Beach definitely has some talent, but I would never look past what Eric Prowse is doing with this Riptide team this year. I think that'd be foolish. I think, yeah, it's gonna be a strong game. I'm thinking about what this month is bringing for all of these teams.
Yeah.
Because we've had just a couple weeks between weekends, and we're seeing, not much difference in the level of play necessarily, but teams like kind of starting to gel. But then you also have some players here, some players not here for some of the, older club teams. And what are these teams going to look like after a month? Because we know that some of these college programs are going into 20 hours, but we know that the non-college teams are hitting it hard too. Like everyone's going to be showing up for this weekend. And you and I in particular have been talking about how important fitness is going to be alone heading into these games. So I know that that's one of the advantages of Riptide is that they have that local pool, that local scene. So they're able to train as a team, which is a rare thing to see for a lot of these post-collegiate club teams. So really excited for that game.
Yeah, I am too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'd love to hear about USA Pipeline and Channel Islands.
Sure. Yeah. So, all right. This game on the surface, I think a lot of people look at this and go, Pipeline's got it. Right? Because Channel Islands was not great during conference play. They weren't. Right? And there were a number of reasons for that. And they're actually reasons that are important. Okay? So we'll break down the Pipeline team. This Pipeline team is legit good. Like, they've got some studs. They have arguably the 2 best in-college American lefties in Alex Oprea and Kiefer Black. Both good friends of ours. Both have played for the LA Athletic Club. We know them exceptionally well. Oprea, a standout at Cal. Kiefer Black set all kinds of records at Navy. We had a great interview with him in the fall. Go back and check that out. So that's going to be a lot of problems for teams on that side. Just start there. You have 2 very good lefties. Okay. Then on the right-hander side, the 1-2, even though they don't have Ryder Dodd because he'll be with Mission, Landon Ackerstrom is a monster. He was probably top 3 in goal scoring in the Big West this last year, top 4. Okay. He's a problem. Max Zelikov, who redshirted at Stanford, has had a very good National League season. We haven't seen him play in college because he redshirted. He and Ryan Ole, the Stanford teammates, have both put together solid National League performances. Ryan Ole has been impressive to me, right? He had a tougher freshman year at Stanford. I mean, look, it's hard for any 18-year-old to come in and play in the MPSF that's not named Ryder Dodd. And even Ryder Dodd had his moments. Ole has done exceptionally well this spring. It is hard to play as a freshman. Now, the way he's playing for USA Pipeline, he's done a good job. You can't take it away from him. He's played a lot of good games. He's scored a lot of goals. He swims hard and he plays hard. You can't take that away from the guy. And so I've been impressed with Ryan Ole this spring, and I'm glad to be. I'm glad that he's done as well as he has, because I think that's good for our sport. The more higher level players we have, the better for our sport, right? So like, we need more guys who are going hard. We need more guys who are dedicated and love this game. So you'd love to see that. In the middle, it's been mostly Chase Wilson. I know that they had Chase Wilson is now a Cal player. He transferred from Pepperdine to Cal. We will prep all the changes in the fall when we get there. A little bit of Will Schneider. I know Will. It's really sad. I know he's been dealing with some injuries on his hips, so TBD on him. Not sure where he's going to be at. That's a tough loss. Will when he's healthy, outstanding, very good. Loved what he did at Stanford as a freshman. And then in the back, you've got my favorite center defender, not named Shamu Biodosh, in Maddox Arlett. Maddox Arlett is a stud freshman center defender at Cal. One of the top center defenders in the country. I think he's got what it takes to be a future Olympian alongside his teammate at Cal in Alex Oprea. So that junior team is, I mean, dude, they're loaded. They're in shape. They're very talented. They're very fast. Okay. They're tactical, and they're coached by somebody who I think is the best coach in America right now in Jack Coker. Okay. And so for that team, a lot of positives. Now we get to Channel Islands, and Channel Islands scares me. This game is scary to me more than any of the other games. This game scares me a little bit.
Yeah, you've been saying that, and based off their performance against LA, their performance against Olympic Club, how they held up against New York Athletic Club, it's like, okay, those games versus the results that we've seen from CIU, what makes you say?
So Channel Islands doesn't have anything to lose, right? They're coming into this like, well, we haven't really won anything. We're here. We're like not super highly seeded. Like we're 11th of 12. So whatever. They weren't in shape to start this season. Remember, these guys finished their season 2 to 3 weeks before like all the major programs who made NC2As did. So there's 2 to 3 weeks they were off longer. That's a big deal in our sport. Okay. Then they came back. They started a little later because of the quarter system, I think. They come back. They're not in shape. So those first 2 weekends, dude, they're just getting into it. They didn't have all their college players playing. Some of them were late coming back or whatever it may be. And so they've quietly been getting in better shape. You just touched on it. What happens over this next month? We don't know. We know that some teams are playing in Pacific Cup, which is exciting. Love that James Graham is doing that up there. We know that some teams are in their 20 hours, which is scary. We know that some of these guys have now been playing for 6, 8, 10 weeks together, 8, 9 hours a week, getting things going. They're not the best CIU Santa Barbara team we've ever seen, right? This isn't the Dash McFarland, Sam Nangle, Nathan Puentes, Cole Brosnan, Leo Yuno team. That team was crazy good. But this team is good. And they've got a lot of good young youth players from that Channel Islands club and surrounding areas playing with these guys. Should USA win this game? Yeah, they should. But if you overlook them, let's say you come out a little flat, a little slow, you bar out a few times, your centers maybe get excluded and get into foul trouble, or your defenders get into foul trouble. Like, it's not this game is like one of those ones that, hey, it should be this way, which always scares me. Because CIU is good enough to beat this junior team. They're bigger. Frankly, they've got more size to them. They've got some very good shooters, and their youth players are very big and strong. I remember watching the handshake line when LA Athletic Club played them, and I'm like, these guys are big. Right? I was like, these youth kids are huge. So for me, like, look, I think the junior team wins. Maybe they win it going away, but it's one of those ones where I go, there's a chance here that CIU comes in and just kind of stomps their feet and says, we're not going to go away. We got nothing to lose. We're taking crazy shots. We're putting the ball away. Baxter Chelsom is a good goalie for that USC team. I'm not sure if they'll have Chelsom or Mills, but they're both good goalies. So if they catch him sleeping a little, it's going to be tough for that USA team to rally back because Santa Barbara can be quite good there.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Pipeline team is very talented and they're very young. And like you said, we have a lot of time for CIU to come in and find themselves and get in much better shape. You just don't know what's going to happen here. The Pipeline team may have already hit their ceiling for all we know. And CIU is about to hit that. So we'll see. So who do you think wins the Riptide and Long Beach game?
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Riptide.
Okay,
And
bold choice.
I mean, I got to have been around for you and me when we were quite a bit younger but still playing. It meant a lot to us. It meant something to us to beat these college teams as hard as it was, and it was a little extra we could always give. I think it means something to Riptide more so than probably Long Beach. This is their off season, so you wonder how much do they. I'm not saying they don't care, but do they care as much as Riptide does?
Right.
And I think there's a lot of pride. I also think if that game is at Ocean View and it's home for Riptide, I'm sure they're going to promote that and get guys out there. They're going to get some fans out there, which is a big deal. Like, that should be a really big deal. And so to me, I'll go with my guys at Riptide, the post grads, the older gentlemen, to come in and run it. Yeah.
I think Frenchie's hungry. I think he can lead that team to a W. Absolutely.
I like Frenchie a lot. Yeah.
So then we will break down the other matches in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah. And so now I want to flash this slide again. Let's go to, give me 1 second here. And let's do this one. So I've updated this slide, and I think it's very important because I didn't have a lot of time to do every team and go through every player. And I'm still missing a lot. Again, I wrote entire pipeline team. So the Ryan Oles, the Landon Ackerstroms, right? The Will Schneiders and Maddox Arlett, like, they're there in that blue entire pipeline. But I added an entire column to the right side, starting with Filip Filipovic, Wes Temkin, who's with LA, Jake Howerton, LA, Ponferrada with LA. I feel bad. We shorted our own team quite a bit. Pete Castillo on mission. He's played with the junior team. Max Miller was part of the national team training camp in December. Bodie Brinkema. A lot of these guys looking to go to Junior Worlds this summer, the U20. Rafa Vergara probably playing with Brazil in World Championships this summer. Charlie Mills, again, I don't know if he's going to play for Trojan or the pipeline team. I'm not sure. Gabby Acosta is playing with Spain. I would imagine at Junior Worlds. Mark Frigola is probably going to be with Spain at Junior Worlds if he's young enough. Bernardo Hertzer we talked about. Robert Lopez, Max Casabella. So, like, again, look at the gold on here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Olympians. You got 9 Olympics between Varga and Filipovic on LA Athletic Club. Ryder and Chase Dodd, an Olympian. Hooper, an Olympian. Wolf, Daube. This is unbelievable, guys. Like, this is truly amazing. And I really think that, like, we need to get out, support this. I'm going to keep ringing that bell. I just, until I'm blue in my sweatshirt, which here I am, is we're going to ring that bell, man. And because I think this is a unique opportunity. This is once in a lifetime. I can't say it enough. It's that important. And so people are going to get tired of me saying it. I'm going to get tired of saying it, but it's not going to lose any of its value. So these are the national team participants thus far. If more come up, we'll continue to update this list. Very, very exciting chance for families to see an elite level. I mean, when was the last time this many national team players were all in one place? Olympians and national team players.
I mean, like an exhibition game between Team USA and Croatia or Serbia or whatever they come by, but like nothing that's been this of like a domestic competition.
Yeah. And how many guys in our country have had the opportunity to play against Denis Varga and Filip Filipovic?
Not a lot.
Only Ryder and Chase Dodd and Alex Wolf maybe, and Hannes.
Yeah.
Oh, and Hooper.
Yeah.
Only those guys. So look at all the guys that are going to get a chance to potentially play against Filip Filipovic and Denis Varga. Their impact on just the amount of players who will get an opportunity to play against the world's best, that in itself is incredible. Like, these guys, I mean, if I'm these guys, dude, I'm just chomping. I'm excited about this opportunity to play against these guys. So exciting times here. Love this. And this leads us into our final segment, which is, you can probably guess, we'll be introducing and interviewing the one and only Filip Filipovic. I cannot wait for this. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. As promised, we have Filip Filipovic. Man, it is so exciting to see you on here. Thank you so much for taking the time, Filip. It's truly an honor, dude, to have you on here after Denis. Like, this is amazing. It really is.
Hello, everybody. At the end of the week, we have a, let's say, second good news for US Water Polo.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully, yeah. So talk to us about that. You made this decision. You're coming over here to the U.S. to play. What to make this move? And after being,
we're losing your
officially
service
retired.
here, Wes.
Yeah.
You cut out for that question. Hang on. You want to say that again?
Yeah, I'll try it again. So, maybe let me ask the question again, and if that's okay. So, you're coming over here for to the U.S. to play. You're coming out of retirement to play for a weekend here in the U.S. What went into that decision? What was that decision process like for you to make that move and come over here for that long weekend?
Actually, I announced a year ago that I'm leaving professional water polo, but I never said that I'm gonna end up my career. So I was still, in this process of decisioning when to, put a cap on the bench and say that's it. So my first impression was, of course, LA 2028 is coming. Is there any better chance to start this new Olympic cycle? I don't want to announce anything because definitely I'm not going to LA 28. But I still, for me, it was from this position. It's very important to promote as an ambassador of World Aquatic, to promote water polo, and I think there's no better place to promote it than LA.
I love it. And so that obviously brings us to LA Athletic Club. What have you heard about National League and the LA Athletic Club as you're joining them here in about 4 weeks?
Yeah, I heard that you're a young team, and definitely you have big goals in the future for the future. And honestly, when we spoke for the first time, I was like, let's see who these guys are. Then I spoke with the head coach, with my first coach, and one of the most let's say honored people in water polo sport, Dejan Udovičić. So I speak with him and I ask around, what is happening, and he explained me that basically you're the third club who want to become definitely the champion, and I wanted to make a try because it's not. I don't want to lie. In the past, I had a contact with Naya Club, but they were never so serious about it like you guys. So I wanted to make a try, and as I told you, I'm like much more West Coast than East one, and comparing San Francisco and LA, there's no comparison from my point of view. So I wanted to have a try, and definitely when I heard that Danish is playing, and he invited me to join your team. So it was really amazing. I mean, like, I had an opportunity 4 years ago to play with Danish, and unfortunately my plans went to Greece. But this is definitely the last chance to play with Dumi.
With Dumi, yeah. And so you're going to be out here on the West Coast. Anything in particular you want to do while you're in SoCal? It's a short trip for you. Like, it's a week, right? But like,
it's a short trip. No big plans. First of all, I would like to win, and this is why I'm coming. We'll see how skilled we will be in that thing for the end of April. But if we have a time, I want to just spend time a little bit on the beach. That I heard that it's not so hard. Maybe I learn surfing after the last game, yeah. But I don't know if we will have a time. But definitely surfing is something that I missed for a whole time because of the sport and everything. And I don't want to jeopardize even this time. But after the tournament, if we have a few hours, maybe I can finally stand up.
We'll do our best to make that.
Just so you know, just to set expectations clear, no Disneyland if there's no championship. Okay, so only winners go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
How has it been this year, having not been on a team for the first time in a very long time? And does it feel like a relief, or do you feel like you're already really missing it?
Actually, I was, of course, this is the first year that I'm not playing, I'm not training with the guys. And to be honest, time to time I'm missing this thing. But since every club that I went, I have a door wide open. So I was going back and forth from Partizan to Italy. Then I was in Novi Beograd. So I had this opportunity to train with these guys whenever I want. The thing that I'm really missing probably is this energy and definitely what the games is bringing to all of us. Not only expectations, but this adrenaline and what every competition game is, bringing with itself. So, I mean, it's not that I was thinking about. I was thinking a lot of ending the career for the last years, and I mean, I'm pretty well in the situation where I'm now. But still, if you have opportunity to come in the US and play something like this, I don't want to miss it for at least if I'm physically, in shape, and if I can lead it for the last time, why not? I want to make a try. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So talk to us about being in shape. Yeah. You talk about being in shape, being ready to go, and that preparation. I'm a big fan of preparation and making sure we're all in shape. And so look, I played until I was 30, right before my 38th birthday as well. And for me, my preparation was very different at that point than it was when I was 18. I feel like when I was 18 or 16, I just hop in the pool. Stretching was, not a big deal. I didn't do a lot of weights. What is it for you now, having not been like truly competing for a few months here? What is your preparation like, just personally? I think there's a lot we can all learn from that.
Let's say that the moment that I end up my professional career, I continue, working in the gym, and by the end of the summer, I realized that gym is not enough, definitely for our type of the athletes. That we need water, we need this hydrostatic pressure, however you explain it there. And I started to swim. Then end of November, I went to Kuwait for 3 games. It was basically 3-4 games, not high level, but I played a little bit, and I see that honestly, playing water polo is definitely the most difficult sport of all. I think they also announced some scientific research before Tokyo, so it's officially the hardest sport. And I realized after I came back to the pool like a month ago, when I started to prepare for this journey. So when you jump in the water after a few months of let's say staying on dry, it's really challenging. It's challenging from the point that if you wanna make a progress in that short time, you really need to put something extraordinary. But I'm enjoying, and since I started a month ago with Partizan again, so I'm using opportunity to be a vice president, so I can jump in whenever I want and train with the guys. They're the younger guys, but we are learning from each other. I'm learning from them some things from the new generation, and I think they have to see something also from my experience, ancient experience.
Yeah. The younger guys, everybody's younger than us now, Filip. So
Yeah,
that's fine.
fortunately.
So I talked to Dennis last week, and I asked him how his training was going, and he goes, "Well, you need to talk to Filip." So there seems to be a little bit of internal competition. Are you guys like competing about getting in shape and like preparing together, motivating one another?
Danish is definitely a freak of the nature, because I mean he started to train in when he get 30s. In 30s he started to train. Before, he was only like swimming and using all of his talent. I'm not sure how much he trained. And then we spoke years ago when he discovered the gym, and he discovered how much more powerful he can become. And definitely from that point, I think Danish really showed something in the pool that probably very, very few people in water polo history did it. So I cannot compete with Danish, definitely not for the shape, but for some shots, I think I can still surprise him. So we'll see.
I love it. I'm going to transition, Clay. I'm sorry I'm dominating these questions here.
No,
but,
good questions.
So, okay, you got to play for Coach Odovicic, who's now the U.S. head coach. You referenced him earlier. I'm glad to hear he's such a big fan of ours. We're going to change his mind about which club is number one and number three. But talk to us about playing for Coach Savic. You won 2 gold medals with Coach Dejan Savic. I hear nothing but great things about him. I mean, obviously you've had a lot of time with him. What has that been like?
With Dejan Udovicic, we had an amazing time. We grew up together as a generation. As me as an individual, I learned so many things about him. But we were missing something. That from the very first moment when Dejan Savic came into the national team, he put us in front of the mirrors and he said, "Okay, guys, in order to win something more that you already won almost everything, but we knew that these Olympic Games was, like missing for the last 8 years." And he said, "If you want to do this, you first of all you need to look yourself in the mirror and accept what is your weaknesses." And then from one to another guy, he came and he wrote every, let's say, detail that we need to improve in the next years. And he was definitely the game changer for the generation. But also his approach as a coach was not it was not normal, let's say, one. He also was going out with us. He was oftenly not going out in the bar, but always we were going for the coffee. He wanted to listen us as players. He's still admiring our experience and our skills. So he was not the stubborn guy who was only wanted to, put his game, and he didn't want to listen to the others, let's say the youngers and everything. He was very open for discussion and very humble guy. That's why I think he changed the game. I mean, from 2014 until until Rio, we haven't lost any competition, like 8 competitions in a row, something like this.
I remember that actually. You hadn't lost a competition in 8 competitions, and then you lost to Brazil in Brazil. Now, granted, they had, I think, Felipe Perone. They had a few very notable players. You then turned it around. And look, I want to call something out here. Serbia, as a standalone country, has competed in the Olympics for only 5 Olympic cycles as a standalone country. And in those 5 cycles, you have won 2 bronze medals and 3 gold medals. You're on pace to absolutely crush everyone. But in 2016, everybody thought when you lost to Brazil, that's it. They're done. How did you turn it around? Because you were the team captain in 2016, if I remember correctly. Right?
Gotic was the team captain.
Gotic.
I was the second one.
Okay, second,
but
assistant captain. But how did you turn that around? That was a big deal. You hadn't lost in 4 years.
Yeah. As I told, okay, we lost the game. We lost, I think, from 14 to 16. I think we lost one preparation game against Greece just before the Olympic Games in Rio. But we haven't lost any competition. I mean, but the things how was going in Rio, we was expecting this is a culmination of our, let's say, of this Olympic cycle and everything, and we were definitely physically in the top shape. We were doing our best. We were having our best years as water polo players, and still after this defeat against Brazil, we knew that something is really going wrong. And to be honest, we didn't lose confidence in ourselves, but we knew that we need something to change. Then we go out from Olympic Village. This is maybe yeah, maybe nobody shared this, but we went out. We said we need a relief, so we give ourselves one night of relief. We came back, and from the next game, it was against Australia. It was still hard, and we were very heavy in the water, but still we believe somehow in ourselves. Gocic as a captain, he showed us. He actually so he said to us few stories about the champions and about difficult times. And the good thing is that whenever it was tough for our generation, we were not spreading around. We were always holding together as a team. And we had this. I mean, even this new generation, they accepted this from us. That always, whatever competitions we are going for, we have our common, let's say, like players' room where we are alone, without coach, without assistant coaches, without doctor or anybody. So we are alone with our physio, who is one of my best friends, and we are, gathering all the energy, all the bad and good stuff. We are gathering there, and I think this time that we spent together again, and we realized that there's no coming back. So, I mean, after this Brazil, it was for us some kind of reborn.
Incredible.
But it was honestly, it was very difficult. I mean, between Brazil and Australia, am very sure that because my roommate was Gocic, and I'm pretty sure that we haven't slept for 2 days between Brazil and Australia, because we couldn't believe what is happening to us, that one of the most successful generations are having trouble against Brazil and Australia. And then we was finding our chances against Japan. We won this game, but again, tough, very tough. We were losing in the first quarter. We were losing something like 5-1, 5-2. But still, we knew that these hard times will pass, and we just need to be patient and to, wait for our moment. And this moment came just in the quarterfinal. We realized how much the other teams are afraid of Serbia. When in the last, that story that everybody was losing against, just in order to avoid Serbia. And we said, if we play like this, and everybody's scared of us, imagine how they will be scared if we start playing normally. So this is what happened in the quarterfinal. I think we met one of the best team in the other group, the team of Spain, who played really amazing, but still. I'm pretty sure that from that moment when we gathered together again, nobody could beat us. So you saw the score in the final of the Olympic Games.
Yeah, incredible.
Your belief is a very important theme in yourself and in each other.
Yeah, for this most, let's say that most credits goes to definitely to all of the teammates, because we grew up as a generation with this Partizan Water Polo Club from the very young age. From 10, 12 years, we started to compete together, and we were growing up together as a team. I think this is very, very important for this generation to mention, because I'm admiring to U.S. water polo team how much how little time they can do some success. And always in the new Olympic cycle, when I see the new names, and basically they changed almost the whole generation, I cannot believe how much you have just a little bit, let's say, one more step to. Or I hope that this generation will stay together until LA, and I'm pretty sure they will be one of the favorites for the medals.
Yeah. We wonder how we can keep up as well. We have a different system over here, as you know, that prevents that kind of uniform playing together over a long period of time. So we'll see if that ever changes. But until then, this is what we got. So moving on to, again, looking forward to National League Championship weekend coming up April 25th through 27th at the Mount Sac Aquatic Center. It's their knockout rounds, like in the Olympics. The National League Finals is basically one and done. If you lose one game, then that's it. You're finished. You're coming out and like that's it. In your experience, how do you ensure, this kind of speaks to the Brazil game, how do you ensure that you come out ready to go from game one at the start and all the way through the end and don't come out slow or be off in games where anything can happen?
I'm pretty sure when it's these knockout games, the only thing that you can focus is the first one, and to approach to this game as it's the last one in your career, and don't think about and don't calculate for the next one. When our, let's say, I will speak only for myself. When my end was approaching, I was always trying to see how to preserve energy and everything. But then I realized that if I don't give myself 100%, I will never be, first of satisfied, but then I will never recover myself enough. The best recovery for every player, every team is a win. So I think, yeah. This is true. When the team feel the spirit of the winning, of the winning, yes, I think this is the best recovery for the next game, whatever happened. So there's no. I realize that there's no space for, let's say, for mistake and everything. But during the game, everything can happen. I think I'm pretty sure that we just need to stay focused from the first game and don't watch the other opponents. Don't watch the next game, next day, next game. I mean, for us, the final will be definitely on 25, and then we'll see for the rest. But this is how we approach to these important games, because if you start to just think about it for the next one, you lose your focus and you cannot give the 100% to your team. And when I say to the team, I don't think that individuals are winning the games. They're only, let's say, a perspective of the whole team.
I love that. Filip, thank you so much for taking the time, buddy. It's I know it's late there. We really appreciate this. It's again a very unique and rare opportunity for us in the United States to speak to legends of our sport. We don't have people like you who are as successful as you here in our sport that are easily accessible. And so this does mean a lot to not only us, I mean, me personally, and Clay, but also our community. And so thank you for taking the time. We like to open it up. Is there anything you would like to share or say before we end this and you get to bed?
No, I still have something to finish, and probably the book will put me in the bed. But I'm very honored to come after so many years, because from my first year when I came into the national team, they played in the Long Beach, probably the very first World League, and I didn't have this opportunity. And to be honest, for 20 years from that moment, I didn't have the opportunity to play, let's say, the real competition in the US. And I'm really honored that I will have, at the end of my career, probably the very end of my career, I will have opportunity to, first of all, promote our sport, to promote some values, but also to, try to win something at the end, because it will really change my perspective, how I'm closing my career, and I will definitely do my best. I mean, bringing Danish and me in U.S. water polo definitely needs to encourage the other teams and let's say the whole world of U.S. water polo that this is the best way to promote to promote the Olympic Games LA 2028, and I'm pretty sure that we'll do our best to first of all to play, enjoy, and for the sake of our sport.
I love it. Well, we certainly appreciate it. You've certainly had a huge impact. If Instagram is any indication, I think in the first 5 hours you had 15 or 16,000 views on that post, and a number of reposts or something to this degree. So, Filip, thank you so much for taking the time. We'll look forward to chatting with you again soon and seeing you in about 4 weeks, my man. We'll talk soon.
No worries. Tomorrow morning I'm jumping into the pool. So
lots of touches, just lots of touches. Get that ball out, get working. All right. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Vala.
Man, Clay, I know I dominated the interview there, but I really appreciate you letting me kind of run. I nerd out with these guys.
I love the sport. This isn't a competition, but like my love and like fixation on the sport absolutely pales. I don't know anyone that loves and like dives into this game more than you do. So like happy that you have the floor. You're like a kid in the candy shop talking to Dennis and Flip. It's amazing.
Yeah. So wonderful interview. I hope everybody enjoyed that. A really unique opportunity. You get that only here at Water Polo Wednesday. We've been very privileged and very honored to have the opportunity to interview guys like Filip Filipovic and Dennis Varga and Ryder Dodd and Chase Dodd that we had on a few months back. And, we've had a number of world-class athletes and world-class people. So we really hope you enjoyed that. Remember, April 26th, 27th at Mount SAC. Be there. If you want to order some LA Athletic Club gear, the hat, a t-shirt, and this sweatshirt right here, not this exact one, you don't want mine, we'll get you a new one, will be available to you for purchase. Very high quality stuff. Again, we don't skip on our gear at LA Athletic Club. We want to make sure that everybody's taken care of and is really decked out as best as possible. You'll love what we're bringing. And we are excited to hear you. Be sure to email in if you have any questions. If there's any questions you want us to answer, we love getting fan mail. If it's hate mail, keep it to yourself. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Or if you just need you just need to vent, it's all right.
You send it to Clayton. At any rate, thank you everybody for joining us. Have a great week. We are so excited. We'll be back next week with more updates on finals weekend and leading into some of the conference play on the women's side. Thanks so much for being here. Remember, life is short. Score goals.